specializing in the Middle East. Thank you so much for being with us. So we were hearing from Hoda there that there have been, obviously, as one would expect, accusations of some irregularities. One from the National Salvation Front, which appears to be an opposition coalition that was formed during the crisis. First of all, can you tell us anything more about the National Salvation Front? And generally, from everything that you've seen, read and heard, do you think that this election so far has been free?
Well, almost inevitably, as you say, there are going to be problems with this referendum because it was held at such short notice. 90% of Egypt's judges refused to monitor the elections. And of course, Egypt there's legal requirement for elections to be monitored by the judiciary. On top of that, the Carter Center, which usually comes out to observe elections and ensure that they are free and fair, a few days ago said it was not able to do so. It just couldn't pull it off, given the short notice and the fact that the referendum was so rushed. So given all those factors, it's almost inevitable that there will be a lot of concern and anxiety about the elections not being conducted fairly. And certainly there have been various allegations coming out of impractices as the day has progressed.
It was very interesting watching the reports of our correspondents and reading things in the press. A lot of the people that went out to vote today in Egypt were saying, you know, what they want is stability. That was really important to them. After all these months of instability and change, they now want Egypt to settle down. I mean, how important do you think that is as a reason for which people go and vote? Because abroad, it's kind of almost seen as a decision whether Egypt is going to be more Islamist or more secular. But do you think stability is more key for the people who vote?
I think you're right that it is a really significant factor. And I think it's also something that the Muslim Brotherhood have been banking on. They've been assuming that the fact that people want stability will produce a yes vote in this referendum. And we're certainly hearing a lot from people who are being interviewed coming out of the polling booths that they voted yes for that reason. They might not like the constitution, but they do want things to just continue. They can't really handle the idea of a no vote resulting in another conversation about the constitution, the whole thing dragging out. And of course, the primary concern for most Egyptians is economic. People are still struggling as much as they were in the Mubarak era, and they really want that economic stability and security to return to Egypt. So that would be a main concern.
Considering all the question marks that have been over this referendum, you raised one, the fact that there wasn't that much time leading up to it. Do you think that when the result, whatever it is announced, do you think it will be accepted by everyone, or do you think it may actually still not be the end of turmoil in Egypt?
I think it will be accepted because Egyptians do have a tradition of accepting and honouring the democratic process, as they have done both with the parliamentary election and the presidential election that we've seen in the last year. However, the way that it has happened, the fact that President Morsi pushed it through in this way and that it was an unrepresentative constitution, that the referendum was so rushed, and it has resulted in so much unrest and protest on the street. I mean, 10 people were killed in the past week. Hundreds more were injured. There have been allegations of beatings and torture. And that's going to mean that whatever happens after the referendum will continue to be very polarized and very protracted.
Rachel, Shabi, Middle East author and journalist, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.